What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Verdependent podcast, where we depend on the Verde Black for our everyday vibes. This episode is brought to you by AC Memento. AC Memento, your digital sports and concert scrapbook. Download Memento today by following the link in the show notes or on any of our social profile bios. I just want to say, nobody has an actual scrapbook. It's your scrapbook.
Straight up, dude. Just straight up. Yeah.
This week, we recap Austin's playoff loss to LAFC, check in on the J-League, Serie A, and NWSL, and recap Austin's 2025 season before closing out the episode with a stoppage time rundown of the hottest Austin FC, MLS, and World Footy storylines of the past week. I'm Logan Bartlett.
What's up, everyone? This is Paul Fletes.
And Paul, it's November. Tell us a little bit about what's special about November.
Yeah, man. So thanks to our boy Logan Jones down in San Antonio. Y'all know him affectionately as Lojo on the podcast. But he brought up to us this awesome initiative called Movember, which is an annual event held during the month of November to raise awareness and funds for men's health, which include bringing awareness to things like prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and men's health and suicide prevention. So we have clean shaven faces because we started on November 1st.
Yes.
And what we're trying to do is, I believe, what is it? It's trying to rebuild the face of men's health or something like that. And
it's men's health.
Yeah. So, we're just a couple dudes, and thanks to, the help of our good dude. And we wanted to just kind of be a part of a larger movement to kind of support this initiative and men's health. And so if you or, another friend need someone to talk to about this kind of stuff, we're happy to chat you up about it. Just kind of be an ear to listen to. So that's what we got going on.
Yeah. And we'll keep you, you'll see the progress of these stashes throughout the month. They're going to be what they are. So
100%. Yes.
If you're doing it too, let us know. So we'll all post pics. We could do something to track our progress. But yeah, it's a real thing.
Man.
So we're joining on.
Yeah.
With that, let's get to some preheated takes. So Paul, I'm gonna hand it to you first. Obviously, we're going into the off season. We have a new season ahead of us. We could pick any number of things to talk about here. So start us off with something big. For
sure. I'm looking at our roster as the scapegoat for my preheated take. And it goes like this. Austin FC will decline options on no less than 5 players who have options ending in 2025. I believe we have 8 players listed for expiring options.
I just recounted while we were talking, just in case. Yeah, we got 8 folks. I think 6 on senior roster spots,
and 2 supplemental.
2 on supplemental. That would be Jimmy and Riley Thomas,
and Diego. Actually, Diego Rubio is supplemental
Diego as well. He's also supplemental. Good shout. But that's a lot of money on the books potentially, or off the books.
Right.
If you're
one of those specifically, sure. I mean, shout out number 18. We will miss you, but
we will.
Yeah,
we will. But I think that's a pretty safe preheat to take, bro. We'll get into these. And I kind of already mentioned this last week, but we're gonna do a recap of all the preheated takes to date throughout the season and see who won the honor of the hottest preheated takes.
Hell yeah.
This will be added to the list. You're throwing a softball up for yourself to start the new.
That's what I'm doing, baby. Low hanging fruit.
I'm sticking with the theme of roster, but I'm looking a little long term, right? So in short, what I got is Austin sees a new DP in the year 2026.
Okay. That's not vague at all.
No. Technically speaking, I'm looking at 3 transfer windows as opportunity here, because it could be right now, could be in the summer, or it could be next off season. In the early years of unofficial agreement that will be signed in January.
Right.
Cool. But I feel like that's pretty preheated. That's like straight out the freezer.
100%. Yeah. There's no defrost happening. It's you just took it out.
Well, so we'll see if that actually happens, but I wouldn't be mad at it.
Right.
To that point, let's talk about this game. A very frustrating and disappointing game.
If we have to.
At least. We do. Well, I'm saying we do. So.
It's our podcast, bro. We don't have to. But I hear you.
We're doing it. Austin FC's season came to an end after a 4-1 defeat at the feet of LAFC at Q2 Stadium. Let's start with the pregame vibes and expectations. Paul, in the stands, you asked what the over/under would be for the first half shots by Austin, and you set the line to 6.5. Were you expecting an all-out attack from Austin as we near kickoff? Was that the reason you picked that number?
Dude, you read me like a book there. I did absolutely go FIFA brain there. The vibes are just too immaculate heading into this game. The smoke got to me, brother. I was inhaling it by the gallon at that point. So
Yeah, I figured it was something going on with the mental for you to make that choice.
6.5 is wild numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was expecting a full on blitzkrieg, just attack with none other than what's his name,
What's his
Miami
face?
boy, Robert Taylor,
Yeah.
heading it on the right wing. So yeah, man. But you did good. I got to give you your $5 latte at some point or
Yeah.
whatever you want to redeem that on.
Yeah, just give me
It was
$5.
rough. I got you, G.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
picked the under, obviously, because I'm smart.
Big brain like that.
Big brain like that. I will say, according to FOTMob, we did end with 6 total shots in the first half. They're counting the penalties, of course.
Sure.
We'll get to those.
As they should.
And that's fair. Those are shots, But at one point, we had 3 shots, and it was nearing closer and closer to halftime, and I was like, brother, nuh-uh. Like, I would have set the line at 3.5.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I was in the same boat. I mean, like obviously my answer, I was like, they're 3. But up to that point, like that's what I wanted. That's what I was hoping for, right? An offensive. Right. And you tried to put it into reality with that line, and I respect that. Yeah. But reality struck. Well, for the first 19 minutes of action, right, I thought Austin did okay. They created a nice shot in transition for Uzuni, looked to be determined in possession, and then disaster struck, right? LAFC nailed 2 goals in 4 minutes off bad decisions by Austin that led to counterattacks for Son Heung-min to embarrass Ilya Sanchez and Brad Stewart, both individually. Mm-hmm. Things got worse after. Mirto Uzuni earned a penalty kick in the 37th minute that he promptly struck directly into the lap of Hugo Lloris. A few minutes later, Denny Boanga pulled out the chair from under Brendan Heinz-Eyck and had Svatak take a seat in it before bagging the 3rd LAFC goal of the half. How did things crumble so hard here for the Verde and Black?
I think this was a game that was lost at the margins, if I'm being honest, because we had to have played so perfect in order for us to have a fighting chance at coming away with a win. And we just did not do that. We had both fullbacks playing up pretty high and aggressive. I don't know if that's, I don't think it was tactical because, as we'll talk about later on in the presser, Nico kind of points to that exact formation wrinkle as a reason why, there was so much space for Denny and Son to exploit in the back. But yeah, when you're not following the playbook and playing your game 100% clean, you're not gonna like what you see at the end there. And then obviously Uzuni, man, I feel like everyone has already said some form or version of this, but like it just had to be better, and it wasn't. But you hate to see that just continue to pile on for him. All I can hope is that the next season is an absolute 180 reversal from this form and shows similarity to the second year that he had over in whatever Spanish side he was on from. I can't remember at this point.
Is that right?
Something like that, bro. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully he scored PKs over there because goddamn.
But apparently, I mean, his record is good according to the stats, except in Austin.
Right.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, right? Like we did what I wanted, right? I wanted us to play aggressive in possession. I wanted us to throw numbers forward and really just go out swinging. The problem is we didn't actually swing. We got into those positions and then kind of fumbled and stumbled and then got counter punched over and over again.
Yeah.
Those little mistakes, right? Both goals in the 20th minutes for LAFC are off of a bad choice by Dessler, right? dribbling and not feeling the pressure coming from Denny Bouanga behind him as he turns to try to pass it back. And they immediately pass it up to Son, and he does his thing, and within 15 seconds it's a goal. On the flip side, you get a terribly placed pass from the midfield out to the wing that ends up in Hollingshead's feet or whoever it was, one of the defenders. He immediately kicks it upfield to Son. And we don't need to go too in depth in this because I don't want to get into it too much. But Brad Stuver decides to run out 45 yards to meet Son in the middle of the field, and obviously gets embarrassed. And takes the widest. I think Lojo said it was a Rocket League defense going to get boost on the way back to the goal. That's the kind of run Stuver made to get back in front of goal as the ball trickles across the box to Bouanga, who nails it through Brendan Hines-Ike's leg. And so we get some out of character decisions from, a guy like Stuver, poor passes kind of throughout the game, right? We see the final goal and that Abobasi scores is also off one of those poor decisions,
giveaways,
right? So giveaways that immediately lead to a counter, and within 15 seconds, LAFC is celebrating. And I didn't know how to. I didn't want to go too in on Uzuni right now because I know, I already have my frustrations over the last couple of days, and the fan base has their frustrations. And we'll get a little bit more into this at the end with a little cheeky conversation about a former number 10. But it's just tough to see your DPs not show up when it matters most, right? It happened in the Open Cup. That hurts enough. You get the chance to make a dent in this game before it gets out of hand, and it's not even a good save that stops the penalty, right? It's just a horrible shot.
That's just straight pass and G, yeah.
And so it's one of those things where you feel for the guy because he wants to come in and make this big swing in the league. And then he can't even get 10 goal contributions in regular season play, misses in the biggest moments for us. Work rate as high as can be, but just can't put it together yet. So I think we're stuck with him. And that sounds negative. I don't really mean it as like, oh man, we're stuck. I just think he'll get his redemption opportunity. However long that is. So, but it was a tough way for this game to go out, because if you're going to go out, at least swing, take some shots. And we didn't even hit our average for the year, which was 11. So Austin made 3 subs to start the second half and followed that with 2 more in the 67th minute. And the momentum finally shifted in our favor. Danny did a great job creating a counter opportunity out of possession. John delivered a beautiful ball to the back post for Obrian, who promptly squandered the opportunity with a weak shot right at Lloris. This kicked off a spell of possession for Austin that gave us momentum in the swing of things, but it only resulted in 1 more shot and a disallowed goal for CJ for offside. Abobasi then, as I mentioned, pulled the final dagger into Austin's chest when Uzuni's errant pass led to the 4th transition goal for the black and gold. Austin ended the second half with just 2 shots created, a disallowed goal, and a 4th goal allowed. This second half, to me, it seemed like a summary of the year for the whole year. To me, would you agree with that?
100%, man. Yeah, 100%. And if I didn't get a chance to actually do this at the start. I had made a mental note of to myself to do this, but I need to give credit where credit is due, right? And LAFC came in, and throughout the series, I mean, they had the opportunity to really stick it to us at home at BMO, and the team, Austin FC did a really good job of playing, valiantly and keeping their star boys off the score sheet. But yeah, they came here and absolutely just put it on us. And I got to give credit to that. But that said, yes, this game felt like a microcosm of the season as a whole, because again, I talk about this concept of like, you needed to have a perfect game, and it felt like we needed to have a solid season in order for us to really get comfortable, obviously in the table positioning and all that stuff, but we could only ever muster at times just moments of greatness and never anything consistent. Right. And so I think that's something that I take away from this season, and we'll talk about this more in the second half. But like, we were just never that team that from minute 0 to minute 90 plus whatever, I was like, we are in it and we're just going to absolutely dominate. We always were somehow just kind of, hanging on for dear life and just praying something would go our way. And I don't like that feeling as a football fan. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like when a la 2022, our team could just go out there, create opportunities, score, and play with some flair, and just haven't seen it since, man.
Yeah. I think that point on perfection is really key, right? Because Austin needed to have a perfect game to get back into the series, yes. But throughout the season, from an offensive standpoint, Austin needed perfection at every chance, at every opportunity that they got to bag a goal, right? We created, I think, the least amount of shots in the league. And this half kind of summarizes that, right? We're down 3-1 going into the half. So we need 3 goals to win this game at minimum. We create 2 shots and a third that was disallowed for being offside. That did end up hitting the back of the net. But if we wanted to win that game, based in hindsight, we had 3 chances to do it and we squandered all 3. So when you're not creating shots and the ones you're not capitalizing on, you can't win a game. So I look at that second half and there's that spell from, about the 67th minute, pretty much all the way to the Abobasi goal, where we have the ball almost the entire time, or we get it back quick and we're in possession and we're trying to get the ball to Kolmanich and to Beto and other guys that can create for us, and Dessler and whoever else. And we're just not getting the ball to a place where we feel confident to shoot from,
Sure.
And you literally can't win a game like that. When you're down 2 goals and you create 2 shots,
right,
you can't win the game. You can tie it, but you got to make both shots. And one was a errant header from Beto that didn't actually, doesn't even show up on the highlight tape. It's technically a shot. The other was O'Brien's sitter that he should have scored and potentially would have scored 9 times out of 10. But in the big moment, he couldn't. So it's just that kind of summary. When you score 37 goals on a season, you rely on hero ball and cut play to drag you through it. When your defense isn't as staunch as it has been in league play, right? You got to do these kinds of things. You got to be perfect when you create chances, and we just weren't. And that kind of summarizes our offense for the season. You mentioned the post-game presser. I want you to just give a highlight or two beyond what you showed already of what stood out from Nico's kind of mentality, from his body language, from what he said, that fans may want to know as you go into the offseason.
For sure, man. Yeah, I think this presser, more than others I've seen over the course of the season, mind you, it's tinged with the immediate effects of watching the team just perform probably the most embarrassing performance that they had at Q2 to date. But his language was so interesting. Nico's language was so interesting here because, one, he talks a lot about the team needing to be humble and how the team was not doing that. And he does bring up this conundrum here that the team was facing, where everyone is expecting the team, and by the team I mean Austin FC. Everyone is expecting Austin FC to come out full swinging. I thought so myself, right? Because we needed to come out on the front foot at home. But he understood that LAFC, since Son came into the league, has been a force to be reckoned with. And we needed to be humble about that and understand that the only way we're going to get past this team is to do the counterattacking style that we beat them with in both instances in the regular season. And we didn't do that. We kind of forced the issue a little bit too much. And because of that, there was a lot of sloppy passes, as you referred to earlier in the episode. And we just kind of played this uncharacteristic style of what we've already kind of seen in the season. But again, when you shake up, you don't have Rubio, you don't have Bukhari. There's not a whole lot that we can expect. And so I think for those that listen to the presser, it is a little bit validation for the fans to go, well, okay, we have to understand that this season we had a lot of new parts coming in. We were able to advance to a cup final. We were able to qualify for the playoffs. So in those respects, those metrics make it seem like it was a good season. But the style in which and the manner in which we achieved those things, he kind of goes back to and saying like this team is not ready for capitalizing on that, and that's what we're going to work on in the off season. To which I say, brother, what were we doing? This entire season, which I get it. It's your first season here, but it might have been just a language thing. But at the end of the day, man, I really hope that these pieces start coming together a little bit more. And that we get on the attacking foot way more than we did this year. Cause I don't know if I can do this again, bro.
Yeah. We'll leave that conversation for, a little bit in the second half and then moving forward.
For sure. Ooh, let's talk about this next point, please.
Yeah. Should we talk about our Sebastian Driussi tweet? After Uzuni missed the penalty, we started to reminisce on a former number 10 that made penalties when they mattered most and decided to post a meme that we missed him. If you didn't see it, there's that X-Men Wolverine cartoon meme format where he's looking at a photo frame or at a book, and then it cuts to what he's looking at. And for us, it was Sebastian Driussi, the Sentimiento Kit 2022 style. Let's talk about it. Why did we do that? What's going on? Tell the people.
Bro, I mean, when we needed a big time player, to show up in big time, like, say what you will about the man, but I was only thinking specifically 2022 Sebastian Driussi, second to Hani Mukhtar in MVP vote.
Yep.
Like, that dude had some fight in him, and it was just a fleeting thought, mind you. Like, my own personal Twitter account, when I posted that, I was saying like, you are not having a unique experience if you had that fleeting moment of like, damn, you know what? I kind of miss Driussi right now because he wouldn't pass it to Hugo Lloris,
Yep.
He would bang that thing. But, bro, I mean, it's natural, right? We haven't had that taste of success that the 22 season had for us in so long. And so, I don't know, man. As a fan, I think it was valid for folks to feel that way. Obviously, a lot of people started to run with it, and shout out Phoenix, who was like, "We miss this guy, brother." I don't know if you're even like in the state to watch these games, so you're not feeling this raw emotion when our $12 million guy is absolutely just shitting the bed. But sometimes you need something to kind of just bring you back a little bit, and the thought of Sebastian Driussi in 22 did it for me. So. What is your take on that, brother?
Yeah, well, I was very intentional with the photo I chose of Driussi, right? To speak to that era. It's we've had one DP that's truly hit for this club ever, and it was Sebastian Driussi. His worst season ever was the 2021 season when he played 17 games and still had 10 goal contributions for us. Some would argue that maybe his worst season was 2024. When he still had 10 goal contributions for us through injury. And we'll talk more about 2024 because it's a little bit relevant to kind of some feelings that I have about the season as a whole, 2025 season as a whole. We'll get to that later. But if you just look at DP production for this club, has been miss, one hit. Now, verdict's still out on Brandon Vasquez. I don't want to call him miss. He was an all-star.
Sure.
He was picking it up. He got injured, right? So I'll exclude him from it. Buka, okay, maybe. He doesn't really get the ball much, right? Tactically. So it's kind of hard to judge him on, when he gets the ball, he's electric. Uzuni has been a miss through one season, but hey, the effort's there. If the skill clicks, which, I believe he has, I'll fucking.
I don't even think it's a skill issue, G. I think it's a formation. It's a tactics thing with Uzuni, respectfully, but because the skill's there, it's just anyway.
Yeah, if it all clicks together is my point, right? If it all comes together, he has the skill. He worked his ass off, but it just didn't happen for him. All I have to say is though, going back to the Driussi point, we can keep rehashing it on Twitter if we want with folks and argue. But you might as well be arguing at a wall because we've had one DP that's been worth a shit, and it's that man right there. How he left is shitty, but hey, if you look up Mirto Ozuni, apparently how he left Granada was equally as shitty, according to their fans, right? You can look into it. There's rumors about everybody. BV9, when he left Monterrey, was shitty. People didn't like that he left so quick. So the narrative is always there with the fan base when someone leaves. I felt the same way. I've had my thoughts. I've talked shit when he's missed penalties before, right? All things that are true. I also miss the man because he carried us to our Western Conference Finals. He showed up when it mattered and scored a bunch of goals for this club. So, also.
Oh, I see the face. I see the face.
I'm wearing the shirt just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Fire ass shirt with his face on it. So, I've moved on past that though. But when the moments strike and your DPs aren't producing, you kind of think about the ones that did, and there's only one that did. So I thought about him.
Because we're definitely not talking about Rigoni, right?
We're not talking about Pochettino.
We're not talking about Pochettino. We're not talking about Alex Ring. Respectfully, that's my captain. But
I will say Alex Ring did hit, but he hit before. It was a kind of asterisk
DP,
Right.
That's an asterisk DP for sure.
Yeah, that was a circumstance of rosters.
Yes.
Anyway, so there's that. Let's talk about it more. Keep tweeting about it. Be mad.
Always, bro.
Let's have fun. Let's take a quick break. We'll get into some leagues correspondence when we get back, and then we'll recap the 2025 season for Austin FC.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. And we're back. And it's time for some leagues correspondence. And we'll start with the J League. So I'm just going to run through some highlights of what's been going on, and we'll get going.
Let's do it.
Japanese top flight is careening towards a close, and the league champion and relegation battles are fierce. The title of league champion has come down to 4 teams, with Kashima Antlers and Kashiwa Reysol sitting a few paces ahead of third place Vissel Kobe and fourth place Kyoto Sanga. They're tied. And there's just 3 matches left.
Hell yeah.
On the other end, we see Niigata and Shonen Belmar are destined for J2, while Yokohama FC hope for a miracle to jump Yokohama FM, who are 5 points ahead of them in the table. They both face Kashima Antlers in the final 3 games. So, if one of them wins,
that's rough. Yeah,
they made it. J2 clubs Mito Hollyhock, Vivar, and Nagasaki, and JEF United are the favorites to promote to J1, although there is some, there's a little bit of a race there. But they're likely to promote to J1 looking ahead to 2026. In domestic cup play, Sanfrecce took home the J League Cup, which is a competition between all 60 teams in J1 through 3. In the Emperor's Cup, similar to the U.S. Open Cup, where there's other leagues mixed in with J1 through 3, the semifinals see matchups between Vissel Kobe and Sanfrecce, and Machida Elvia and FC Tokyo. Lastly, in international play, Sanfrecce, again, Vissel Kobe and Machida Elvia are performing well in AFC Champions League Elite Group Stage play, which will wrap up in February 2026 before moving on to knockout play. So they're about halfway through their group play. All 3 are in the top 5-6 teams. They're looking to move forward in their group. But yeah, obviously Sanfrecce has been very successful in the last year. They're competing at top. They've won the League Cup. They're competing in Emperor's Cup, and they're competing in league play. So the top echelon of teams are really performing across the board. So yeah, that's the general update. Obviously, they only have 3 games left. They do have a long international break, so they'll be back in December to close it all out on their decision day, the first week of December, and we'll touch base then just to see what's going on. So the timing is perfect. Paul, take us to Serie A.
Hell yeah. And I should note, I believe, isn't Landon in Japan right now for Moon Tower Soccer? Enjoying some
sure he is. Yeah.
J League action. So good on Landon. Hopefully he gets a chance to check out some cool matches out there. But
I think a Kashima game, if I remember correctly.
Hell yeah, dude.
I think
Antlers are top, so that'd be awesome. But yeah, moving over to Italy in Serie A, the top flight is well underway as 3 coaches were relieved from duty following rough October records. We have Juventus sacking Igor Tudor, Genoa doing the same with Patrick Vieira, And Fiorentina dismissing Stefano Pioli after a winless start to the 2025 campaign. They are 0-10, brother. It's
quick.
not looking good out there. On the other end of the table in the top, we have Napoli, Inter, AC, and Roma occupying the top 4 places respectively. Napoli sit on 22 points, while the following 3 places are all tied up at 21. 4 points are separating first through 6th places, so things are still pretty close after those 10 matches played so far. And the only other the only other league that has any kind of semblance of this tight, top of the table action is Ligue 1 in France. Everything else is already kind of doing the usual. Your giants in Germany and Spain are already kind of like separating themselves. In England doing the same thing too. But yeah, in the Coppa Italia, the round of 32 ended with no surprises as all of the top flight participants moved on to the round of 16, and those matches will kick off in the first week of December rather. And in UCL league play, we've got Napoli playing to a 0-0 draw to Eintracht Frankfurt. And in Juventus, they have Dusan Vlahovic, who rescued a point for the Juventus team against Sporting CP, while Inter and Atalanta continue their UCL efforts tomorrow. All the Italian teams are in the playoff places. However, Inter are sitting well above the others in 4th place, while all the other teams, so that's Napoli, who is it? Napoli, Inter, and Atalanta at 19th, 21st, and 23, respectively. So it's looking pretty grim out there.
Yeah,
for them to stay in the playoff at least. So
yeah. And we'll highlight Chelsea later because they're in league. They're doing their thing in UCL.
They're doing just fine. G.
Yeah.
They're hanging in there.
And lastly, looking at NWSL, we saw a little movement in the table after decision day. Racing Louisville did rise to 7th and clinch their first playoff berth, while Gotham City dropped to 8th in the table and will go on the road to face frontrunner Casey Current. My San Diego Wave will go on the road to Portland in the first round, which kicks off this weekend. Paul, I think we have plans to watch that game, but just top of the dome first. I just want to hear your take. Who wins it all in NWSL?
It's got to be Casey Current for me, man. They were so close to winning it last season. You can see them still sticking out the resolve all the way through the regular season. Yep. So I get the sense that they're going to just absolutely gun it and figure out a way to make it to the final and win the whole thing. What about you? Do you have any inkling on?
I'd be surprised if they didn't win. The way they absolutely dominated the regular season, they had like 20 points more than any other team. It's theirs to lose, right? So
it's Bia, it's Davinia, it's they don't even need oh my gosh, Chawinga, who was out injured, for the past few months now. So it's gonna be wild, but yeah.
But I always believe in my San Diego Wave, dark horse to win it all. So
I think they'll come good against Portland, bro. Yeah, like it's gonna be good.
Yeah, they need one result. Obviously, everybody does, but they get one result, and I think they're on track to make the final. So we'll see. It'll be a fun postseason. With that, let's get back to Austin FC.
Let's do it.
For the second half convo, we're going to do a season recap, and we're going to look at our preseason kind of ahead of the SKC season opener. We did a season's expectations. We're going to run through that first, and we're going to open some questions up about how we, if the team met the expectations or not. So
for sure.
In episode 84, Paul and I set our expectations for the season, and we have some things to unpack. First, we talk through pundits and their predictions of where Austin will land. We had Bogert and Wright having us at 9th, MLS Soccer Staff having us at 6th, and Sports Illustrated having us at 7th. Not bad takes from the guys.
Yep.
We then predicted that Austin would land in 4th, Paul, and 3rd, me, barring injury. Well, foreshadowing.
Right.
Then we qualified that by saying if we make a deep run in the Open Cup, we would be fine if we slipped a bit in the table and prioritize the cup games. Then we staunchly proclaimed it's playoffs or bust. And if we make the playoffs, we will have met our expectations. Well, as it happens, we made the playoffs and the Open Cup final, despite Brandon Vasquez's injury and underperforming DPs. So it seems Austin met and likely exceeded our expectations, and yet the vibes are off. Paul, why are the vibes off when we very, very clearly met the expectations we set 8 months ago?
Um, could it be, G, that we maybe just as a fan base in general have calibrated our expectations just a little bit higher than what they should have been, given the fact that we've had a new coach in Nico Estevez, who we all recognize was not the attacking style coach that we were all hoping for? Could it be that we were still bringing in new pieces into a team that was thoroughly in rebuild? I don't know, bro, but
Mm,
I'm getting
all
the
great
sense
points.
now. You read all of that, and I'm back. I'm back at square one, baby. Like I'm Austin FC is fucking that team, bro. You know, like we did what we
Yeah.
said we were gonna do, and
Look,
if it's off, bro, it's my fault. You know what I'm
the
saying? Like if it's I asked for too much.
vibes are off. Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness though, um, I think just the style of play that we had to go through this regular season was not, eye catching by any means, because what did you say we ended with?
37
The goals
goals.
for
Yeah.
30
37.
37 goals for. That's insane. Like
Yeah.
um winning by the skin of our teeth in a bunch of 1-0 gritty matches, and
Mhm.
losing the games that we were supposed to win handily. It's just a lot of that, it seems juxtaposed to going deep in the Open Cup and, making us sit in a pretty place in the table to
Mhm.
reach the playoffs. So, yeah, it was just a wild, wild season, if I'm putting it,
Yeah.
short. But what about you? What do you think?
So what stands out to me when I was kind of just looking through the numbers, right? And I don't, I try not to put too much weight on the numbers because you can take it and run with it in any direction. It can create any argument you want,
Right.
but I'm going to create an argument with them because I find it interesting. So looking back at 2024, right, and comparing that to 2025 from the very basic stats, looking at points, goals for, goals against, and the
Mm-hmm.
general placement. Uh, 2025 we end with 47 points, sixth place in the table, 37 goals for, only 45 goals allowed. Uh, that's obviously our best defense of all time, and I think it might be our second worst goal total, just behind 2021, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Um, Now, in 2024, we had 42 points. We finished in 10th in the table. We had 39 goals scored and 48 goals allowed. So that's just a very minor margin for the better in 2025. It is marginally better,
Right.
but it paints an interesting picture that, okay, last year we were in 10th place. This year we're in sixth. You would think you made a big rise across the board, but it was incremental successes on both fronts. Well, not the goals for front. We scored fewer goals, but we allowed fewer goals.
Right.
Um, and I think it's something that stood out is if you look at it, say you take 2025 Austin FC out of the table and you put 2024 Austin FC into the table, they fall in eighth. Last year's Austin FC team is eighth place in this year's playoff table.
That's wild.
And that's hosting a play-in game. And then that's a best of three series with San Diego, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, would we be mad if all is the same Open Cup wise and we had that kind of season in 2025 where we end in eighth? We did technically make the playoffs. We scored a few more goals. We allowed a few more goals, but it's still our best defensive season to date.
Mm-hmm.
Without 2025 happening. So it's an interesting conundrum to look at, right? Because statistically, it's a little different. We had underperforming DPs last year. We brought in Buka. That was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Dries only scored 10 goals and he was injured for a chunk of the season, or only had 10 goal contributions and was injured for a chunk of the season. So it's this interesting picture it paints of it's a very similar team on basic statistical output.
Right.
And we would have made the playoffs with that team in 2025. So obviously, it's a weaker Western Conference in this season that just ended for us. We benefited there a little bit.
True.
But, counterpoint, we made it as far as we did in the Open Cup. And that, adds rotation to the schedule. And despite, extra games in midweek, throughout the season, we still got more points. The team had the resolve and maybe the depth to get there. Brandon Vasquez's injury, of course, we can't ignore that. It changes the season in a lot of ways. To compare it to another year, you look at 2022, right? That season was kind of plagued with heroics, right? We had so many of these huge moments that are like huge adrenaline boosts and dopamine boosts for fans of like, oh, the Pollo FC, or the Pollo game, right, in DC, and
Right. Danny Husen's equalizer,
exactly, right. All these big moments of like 4-3 wins, comebacks, heroics that really drove us to the upper echelon of teams and carried us through the regular season. Well, that's the same story with the Open Cup this year, right? The comeback against El Paso. We did not play good defense all Open Cup. It was a lot of 2-3 goals scored against us, and we had to score 2 or 3 ourselves to win a game,
right?
And win in penalties, right? So it wasn't a pretty cup run, but it was storied, and it's what you expect with the Open Cup. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just very counter to what we saw throughout the regular season, right? I think we scored, top of my head, maybe 8, 9, 10 goals in the Open Cup in the 5 games we played, and 37 goals in the 34 games we played, So it's a very different picture when you look at the offensive output there. And a lot of it is that heroics piece. So I say all this to say nothing really, but it's just an interesting comparison. Like I'm not really getting at anything. It's a different team, a different scenario. You can't argue that Nico made some success for this team in this year. Yes, it was a weaker Western Conference, but yes, we made it to the Open Cup final, right? Yes, our DPs underperformed, but also Brandon Vasquez gets injured and puts everything out of whack for us. Owen Wolf, Brad Stuver, right, Beto all get recognized for their talents this year as all-stars or as nominees or top 5 young players in the league. And so there's a lot to like about this season, but it's just weird, right? It's a weird, like, just story or just a picture that's been painted when you kind of look at the past of Austin FC seasons and say, like, not much changed. Underperforming high-end players, stats are wonky, our goal differentials are negative. We just kind of benefited from right place, right time. What are your thoughts?
I get the sense there are 2 words that come to mind. They both start with I. There's inconsistent, and then there's incremental. One, you kind of speak to that incremental piece, that we as a fan base have experienced over the course of 5 seasons now, where despite this injection of capital and investment in the roster, we could only muster up 37 goals, one of those players getting a season-ending injury. And so a lot of that is just kind of luck of the draw, which then kind of goes into that inconsistent piece where the incremental progress that we had, I think, kind of set the stage for all of these inconsistent performances because we had to draw on so many different, formation. I don't want to say formations because it was either, 3 back, 5 back, 4, but like I just worry that we did too much tinkering and we never really got settled, that it was no surprise that at the end of it all, the team just honestly kind of collapsed under its own efforts of the entire season. And it was just like it got into desperation mode against a opponent that is absolutely going to take it all the way to the house probably. And so I don't know, man. I don't know. My thing is, I'm just curious, like, how do we do like a cleanse of this like weird taste in the mouth, and like, how do we tell ourselves as fans, like, hey, look, man, we were actually successful this year, because again, you were saying it at the start of the second half. We met these expectations. We did this despite all of these efforts or these things in our way. Bro, I'm happy. Like I sit back and I'm like, okay, with what we had, I'm being realistic here. We weren't supposed to like make it much further than, the first round of the playoffs. Not when we're facing LAFC that's got, mega hitters like Denny and Son. So I don't know, man. I think it is just going to have to be that hard pill to swallow, that it's going to be an incremental process for us. 100-year war. And I like that quote that you said when you shared that tweet that McConaughey posted on Twitter. What did you say?
Oh yeah, what did I say to that?
But I'm going
Um,
to be 126 when the war is
yeah,
over.
yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna be 126 when this war's over, bro. So can we
Yeah.
start doing shit now? Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm all for
that's
it.
just it, right? And it goes to not just the sporting side of things, but the culture side of things and the community side of things.
Yeah.
You know, you had people talking about like, oh my gosh, there goes that band again that can't stop playing even when they get dunked on. You know,
Yep.
I get that, bro, but like we are thinking ahead so much more to when I've got arthritis and
Yeah.
I need a cane to like get to Q2,
I got
and I
metal
am sitting
knees.
there and I am able to sing the song by heart because in 2021 we
Mhm.
had that stuff ready to go, so that way, you know,
Yeah.
it was just natural. But
Yeah. It kind of, to answer the original question of like how do you cleanse the vibes and kind of like accept as a fan base that the season was a success despite all the frustrations and all the circumstances. Um, time heals all wounds. I know that's kind of can be a overplayed statement or overplayed phrase, but it
yeah,
is true. Even just a few days removed or 2 days removed from this loss, um, I can sit back a little bit and like celebrate what we did accomplish, which was
yeah,
making the playoffs for the second time ever, making our first final ever, um,
yeah,
losing in both fashion, as just as horrible and distasteful and distraught that it was.
yeah,
You got to take those L's and you
yeah.
got to move on, and like you got to have no's to get yeses, right? Like
Boom.
to kind of keep it
And it's
simple.
gonna feel so much more sweeter, dude, or like much more
Exactly.
sweet when it does hit, dude, because we were
Yeah.
standing next to each other that Open Cup final. We were standing next to each other on that loss, you know, against
Yep.
LAFC
Yeah.
at home in the playoffs. And
Yep.
I'll tell you what, man, this is just not related at all. I personally think that loss at home to LAFC in the playoffs was worse than when I got my fucking trumpet stolen at BMO Stadium and the team lost 3-0
Yep.
on the road in 2022. Because,
Yep.
like, we didn't have an answer for that team in the Western Conference Finals, but here, man, we just absolutely capitulated, and
Hmm.
I was not expecting that. And to sit there and take those punches in the mouth, bro, that sucked. That I think that's the most embarrassing result I've experienced at Q2
Yeah.
as a fan.
Yeah. I would agree with that. So, but how do we move
Amen.
on from that? And so I
Yeah,
think time, obviously, um, be frustrated. That's
yeah,
okay. Be frustrated at Uzuni. Be frustrated at Esteves. Be frustrated at whoever you want. Um, you don't have to move on if you don't want to, but we're choosing to because we
true.
look back at what we expected, and we're lucky enough to record a podcast to where we talk about it and can go back and listen to it and be like, "Damn, maybe I'm kind of being a baby here, right?" And I can
Yeah,
say,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
"Okay, I said if we do this, expectations are met. We did that and some. Expectations are met. You know, the way we got there, not the prettiest.
Right.
If it's the same story next year, the Western Conference is stronger, and we're more or less the same. Different story, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I'm gonna do my best to not worry about shit that hasn't come to be yet. So,
Hell yeah,
with
bro.
that, I think I'm looking forward to. We didn't write this down or kind of chart it out yet, but I think it's going to be a fun off season to follow this team and to see where we make those incremental changes around the fringes. I know my preheated take was about a DP, a new DP coming in. That's just a preheated take. That's supposed to be wrong. That's your $5 parlay on a 6 leg parlay on all demons on Prize Pick. So like that's you throw down some
Right.
crazy shit so that when it hits, you were the one that was right. That could happen for whatever reason, right? But I think we'll see some changes around the fringes. I think it's going to be fun to talk about that. The MLS vets, the TAM level players,
Mm-hmm.
growth from within. And I think it's going to be,
That's where the teams win championships, bro. I get that there's a lot of that star power that, you know, really helps build the ceiling, but you got to have that strong middle there too, which is what LAFC have, which is what, you know, San Diego
Mhm.
has. It's like, bro,
Yeah.
like,
Philly. Talk about Philly. They don't have
Yeah.
Son, they don't have Messi, they don't have Dreyer, you know.
Yeah.
But they had the team they do, and it's a great Vancouver, same kind of story. Obviously with Mueller now, but
Right.
they got him because they were who they were. So anyway,
Exactly.
I think it'll be a good offseason. We're excited to keep the conversations going. Dude, please tell us if you disagree. You're welcome to be frustrated. You're welcome to say Nico out. I said it Sunday night. But, I'm going to reel that back in and let
Yeah, I
it
said a
ride for a
lot
little
of
bit.
shit Sunday
Yeah.
night. But we're
I
good.
started thinking about Sebastian Driussi Saturday, Sunday night. So,
Yeah.
here we are, bro. It's Mircha till I die, bro. Let me get a shirt with him on it. He's going to put up 20 goals next year. Let's go. Let's get to stoppage, G.
Let's do it.
Staying on the Austin FC train, our man, number 5, Alexander Svatak, gets called up for Ukraine's World Cup qualifiers in this November international break. Shout out to the man. Did he earn it? I don't know. Hell yeah,
Shout out to the man. No, I think he did. I do think that this playoff series was a little unkind to him, but you're dealing against, some strong attackers, and he had to get called off a little bit there, but I think over the course of the season he put together a good body of work, defensive work, and so I think they give him that shout, and hope he does well, and
Yeah. Now that's all you got to think about, bro. No playoffs to worry about. He probably doesn't get that call up before in playoffs,
Yeah.
Or doesn't accept it at least.
For sure.
Elsewhere around the league, what could have been, right? Columbus Crew forced a Game 3 after dominating 4-0 in a win over Cincinnati. And Seattle Sounders erupt to force Game 3 versus Minnesota after a 4-2 victory themselves. Their backs against the wall. They both put 4 on them things, and they keep it alive.
Could you imagine, bro? Could you imagine erupting at Q2 and just dominating? These are all words. These are all things that I never once associated with Austin FC in 2025.
Yeah.
And it makes complete sense that we're out of the picture now. So
yeah, it's good.
Bro, we got to move on before I start getting mad again.
Yeah, good for those teams. I mean, that's what we hoped Austin FC would have done.
Yes.
It didn't happen, so whatever. But shout out those teams. You like to see a Game 3. That MLS likes to see a Game 3. Don Garber likes to see a Game 3 to prove that this was worth it. So shout out to those teams making it happen.
Hell yeah.
San Diego's Anders Dreyer. He's named Newcomer of the Year. Rightfully so, in my opinion.
Rightfully. Yeah. That boy balls, dude.
Mm-hmm. MLS MVP contender all season.
Yeah.
I think this says that he's not winning MVP. I mean, I think Messi's presence in this league says that no one else is winning MVP.
Right.
But I think this is kind of the nail in that run of
sure.
he's a dark horse,
Yeah.
Best player on the best team, but all good. Shout out to the man though. That's great for an expansion side to have that kind of talent, and a guy that isn't Son, Messi, those kinds of dudes that bring the reputation that's what's expected. Those are
the kinds of players you want to pick up, man. The people that you have no clue who they are, bro. That's the Sebastian Driussi that we picked up from Zenit, and we were like, who the and then lights out. Yeah,
the same kind of player, right? Yeah,
that's crazy, bro. God, I want to hit on DP so bad, dude.
Hey, we might have. Who knows? Anyway, we did on the one I got on my shirt. USL side North Carolina FC announced they will not be fielding a team in 2026 as they officially apply to join USL's new Division 1 league in 2028. Essentially, they're awaiting Pro Rel. They said, we're good.
Yep.
Our contract's up with this league. We want to get into the new version of it when we can make some money. So thoughts on that? You think we'll see that be a trend or?
Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see who else jumps on that bandwagon over this winter off season. I just think it is a little bit weird timing wise because if I'm not mistaken, I'm hoping that communications were sent out to players because I think I saw those contracts end in 2 months, so hopefully they get someplace to land and figure out how that works out. But anyway, should be cool though.
The team will replace them too, like how they'll make that
right.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's not even guaranteed that they make it to the new Division 1 league, right? So they're really just betting on that they'll be admitted and that it's worth it. So
Mm-hmm.
It shows you the power of promotion and relegation. Teams are willing to like risk their future to even just try to get to it, you know?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
jumping to a different football, the Texas Longhorns top number 9 Vanderbilt and jumped to number 13 in the AP top 25. Now, Paul, I want to say this real quick before I give it to you. When we were up 24 in the fourth quarter, I said it's going to be bullshit when we beat Vanderbilt like this and we're still out of the playoff picture, which is the top 12 teams. And then they came and scored 21 in the fourth quarter and almost got an onside kick, and we barely beat them by 3. And I said, yo, my bad. I take that back. We do not deserve to be in the top 12. And look at us. We're just outside it at 13.
And one could argue, right? I think I also saw on social media that, having played OU, who I think is in that
like
12th
number 9 or something.
or something like, okay. Yeah. They were somewhere near us, but ahead of us.
Yeah.
And it's like, hold on, we fucking ate their lunch.
Destroyed them
in the Red River shootout. And that's weird. But anyway. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where you're like, huh. So we beat Vanderbilt. We jump them. We absolutely destroy OU. Not even in consideration.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's okay, though. That's okay.
Yeah,
we just keep winning, bro. We're going to keep doing it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
March 1 SEC Player of the Week. 3.5 weeks removed from is he the biggest bust in football?
Right. Hey, against a staunchy Vanderbilt defense, bro.
Yeah.
That was holding LSU. That was holding,
Yeah.
Bama and all that.
Against Heisman candidate Pavia.
Bro.
Diego Pavia, who has literally worse stats than Arch Manning.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wild stuff.
Back to football. Chelsea. They topped Tottenham 1-0. Some could say they topped shit 1-0.
That's what I think about Tottenham.
I mean, that's what I think about shit.
Yeah. That's all right.
It's all right. And they so they get the Derby win there. Light work is expected. What is that? Like 9 wins in the last 11 matches or some shit like that. Whatever.
It's 3 points to get us back into 4th place, G. That's all I care about.
Yep. Although we did drop back to 7th after all the other games finished.
Son of a... Well...
Who needs to talk about that?
Don't worry about it.
Tomorrow, or yesterday for the listener, Chelsea will continue their UCL campaign and facing Karabag, the Azerbaijani top flight team in Baku, the capital, where they will be hosted in a stadium of capacity with 5,200 people. So, fucking yeah, dude. This is the cool part about UCL stuff, or even Conference League last year, when you're at a crazy stadium in a country across the world from you.
Yeah. It's really cool. And I think I'm trying to remember if they also had played them before. I think it was maybe Europa League action in like 2019 or something like that. Oh, yeah. But
that's dope.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I'm just like, oh, wait a minute. That name does sound familiar now that I read it. But yeah, it's going to be good, man. I hope the traveling fans, are absolutely in full voice. If they bring their own little metal, fence to just smack on the, the side of the stadium, bro. It's just bring that bit of Chelsea over to Azerbaijan, but it's going to be a good game.
Over under goals scored for Chelsea 5.5.
You know what? I'm going to go under because I think it's going to be right at 5.
Okay. Heavily rotated for Chelsea?
I think there's going to be some rotation. Young boys play.
Yep.
Little Esteval show, little Andre Santos show.
Yep. I could see it. I picked that number because we scored 5 against Ajax, right? So, like,
but Karabag is a little bit higher. I mean, they're not as good as Ajax right now in the UCL table, but yeah, Ajax is pretty ass right now. So
yeah, Ajax.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah. Hey, regardless, shout out Karabag for making it. That's going to be awesome for them to have Chelsea. Like, this is the fun part when you host a giant like Chelsea. It's great for your club. So shout out to them. It'll be a fun game. And that's that. 11:45 a.m. tomorrow, Paramount Plus. Go watch it. Have some fun. Enjoy football. It's still on, even with Austin FC out. And with that, we appreciate y'all kicking it with us on this week's episode of the Verdependent podcast. I'm Logan Bartlett. You can find me online at Lobar VHLM.
And I'm Paul Flettes. You can find me online at Paul Andrew FC. It's a government name.
And make sure to keep the chatter going online by following at the Verdependent on all socials. Like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Let us know what you think about Sebastian Driussi, about the season expectation, about all the other things. And with that, that's an episode, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Paul, why are you screaming at me?
Oh my God.